I'm going to be making dinner today, so I figured I would film that. I'm going to be making lasagna, so if you want to know how I make lasagna, which I think is super easy, then stick around and watch. I hope you like the video. Okay, let's get into it. We start by browning the meat. I'm going to use ground turkey because that's just what I use, but you can use ground beef, pork, you know, whatever. Ground meat's your preference, or you can just totally do a meatless lasagna, but we're gonna have meat in ours. This was one of those 3-pound logs that they had, and I'm gonna use half for this, and the other half I will jar it and save it for another use. So I get 2 meals out of that for my family. But brown this, and then once it's close to cooked, then I'll season it. I don't want to season it now. That way when I do go to drain the fat out, I'll let the seasoning go. So I'll wait until it's close to being done, and then I will add my seasoning. But I want to brown some of it first before I add the seasoning to it. Okay, well now that the meat is browned, I'm going to drain it because even though it's turkey, it still has some fat, and I don't want all of that fat in there. So I'm going to drain it, then I'm going to season it. I got my bouillon cube. I've got my homemade sofrito. Homemade meaning I made it myself. Some black pepper, some sazon, little lorries, but try not to do too much of salty things. One, I don't want all that sodium. I already feel bloated as it is. And then just 2, the bouillon cubes adds enough flavor. That's a lie, I don't add enough flavor. It adds some flavor, but it definitely adds salt to it. So I wait until after I add the tomatoes and all of that stuff to it before I start to add more salt. But definitely just for the meat, I do that. What's in the sofrito is garlic, green peppers, onions, olive oil, and mine, salt, capers, olives. So it's maggot, just try it. So I'm gonna drain some of this out, add that stuff to it, get my sauce going, and then we can start the assembly for the lasagna. Sazon gives your food really great flavor. If you've never used Sazon before, try it. I love it. The only thing about Sazon is that it will turn your food color. So being that I'm making a red-based sauce, I'm okay with my food turning a tinge orangey red because it's going to be in that color family anyway. But if I were wanting something for like a cream base, a white base, a great, a brown gravy, I wouldn't add sazon to it. You have to do it with the other seasonings. You would have to add your own, concoction. But for this, I'm okay with adding the sazon to it. So pick up some sazon, make some sofrito, or you can cheat and buy the store-bought crap in the store. It's not crap. Let me not say that. Mine's is just better. It's good if you're in a bind or if you don't know how to make it. But sofrito is super easy to make. But it truly brings out the flavor in food, and considering there's no preservatives in making it yourself, I recommend just making it yourself. To make the sauce, I'm going to use tomato paste and diced tomatoes. I'm going to add that to my seasoned meat, get that going a little bit, then I'm going to taste it and see what's missing. I just add the seasonings as I go. I think cooking is an art. I will let you know what all I use, but so far all I've used is 2 bouillon cubes, some sofrito, the sazon, and the fresh ground black pepper. So that's all I've added so far. It's normally really good. And then we're just gonna keep this party going. All right? And this is why you start off in the right size pot. I knew this pot was too small, but I decided to start off with it anyway, and now I'm having to change pots before I add the paste in the water, so that way I don't make a huge mess. Because if I stayed in this, I was gonna make a mess. So please choose the right size pot. Be smarter than me and do what you do. So now that I'm in the right pot, I can add the tomato paste and I can add some water to go ahead and make my sauce. If you don't have paste and canned tomatoes, you can just go ahead and just use jarred tomato or canned tomato sauce. Your preference. I just prefer to do it myself. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. Well, I made a big old pot of sauce. So I'm going to assemble a pan of lasagna. So I'm going to use half for a pan of lasagna for dinner for another night. And then I'll probably just boil some spaghetti noodles. And we'll have some spaghetti for tonight. And this will be our dinner. So again, 3-pound log, couple bouillon cubes, sofrito, sazon, a little seasoning, salt, diced tomatoes, tomato paste, and can of water. And you got yourself a good old pot of sauce made from scratch. Very affordable, very tasty, and not complicated at all. Okay, so I have my pan. I have my lasagna noodles. I have 2. I have a box that's like 2 left, and I have a new box. I've got my ricotta cheese, and then I've got some mozzarella cheese already shredded, so I don't have to cut, and I don't have to shred. What I'm going to do is take my sauce, because I'm not heating my noodles or doing that first. I'm going to do a small amount of sauce on the bottom. Layer in some noodles. Let's go with the one already open. Okay. Add the noodles. And then add in some more sauce. Ooh. Okay. Spread that out. 2 good scoops should do it. Make sure you cover all your noodles. I used to always boil the noodles first because that's how my mom taught me how to do it. And then I found out when I was in the Navy, when I first joined the Navy, I was a cook. I found out that you don't need to, and I was like, mother suckers. Because could you imagine making that lasagna for all those people on the ship, and then you have to boil all those noodles? Now granted, I don't know if they do that anymore. I only cooked my first 5.5 years in the Navy, and then I switched jobs. But I learned a lot while I was there, like a lot. And now I do not boil my noodles, and it keeps them from being too overdone. It's a nice al dente noodle. Anyway, so I add that. Get that mix, sprinkle in some cheese, do another layer, and then shablam. Lasagna. One of these is open. So I'm going to use for my mozzarella. Okay, noodles, and let's just do it again. So lasagna is just a layered effect. That's all lasagna is. Keep building up your layers until you get to the top. Once you get to the top, don't end with cheese because we're going to cover it and bake it. Well, I'm going to cover it and stick this in the refrigerator. Probably eat this towards the end of the week. Who knows? But cover it. Stop with sauce. Cover. Bake for about a good 60 minutes. 45 minutes. Take it out. Add some cheese. Bake for another 15 minutes. And you're good. But I'm going to keep building my layers. And that's it. So now my lasagna is assembled. I'm going to cover it, like I said, and store it. And then when I'm ready to eat it, we will pop it in the oven, bake it for about an hour on 350. But that's all there's to lasagna. Pretty simple. So I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay. Bye. Bye. Bye.